Hey, this is Sir Charles Carey. I want you to join me on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. for the TRU MU podcast, True Music. That's where we talk about all things.
I'm a musician, singer-songwriter, producer, engineer.
All things creative.
Me and my co-host, Carl T. Smith, the smooth one, will be glad to hear you, glad to talk to you, answer your questions, and talk all things music. The TRU MU podcast, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Be part of the energy.
I can see that thing that makes men stop, stand still, all in denial, suffer loss of will.
Man, we still at it, man. You know what? I like that intro, but we need to update it. But I like that intro, man. It was really cool. Man, while our guest is figuring out the audio, we are going to keep it moving. I know this is kind of crazy, but sometimes current events seem so intriguing, you know. So, and I don't know if you're aware of this, Carl, but I saw on social media, and I was like, social media is so full of junk. They had a segment, well, not a segment, a post where, what's his name? I'll Be Sure is dating Lil Nell, the comedian. Did you hear about that?
The Lil Nell, the comedian.
Yeah, and I'll Be Sure. Had you heard about that?
No, I'm just picturing like the Lil Nell that I'm thinking of.
Short, blonde hair, stout. Yeah, that one.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm like, you know, everybody need love, man.
Well, Whisper said love is where you find it. Put your heart deep inside it. There's no rhyme or reason. But I don't know. Some think it's true, some don't. But I just found it interesting. But yeah, man, I say, wow, that's kind of interesting that someone says that they're promoting something and maybe they're just trying to create buzz. I don't know. But I guess we'll find out soon enough. Or we won't.
All over the place.
Now I'm back to our regularly scheduled program. Yeah, tell me the TV doesn't have its benefits.
I tell you.
Look, if I wasn't a television addict as a kid, I wouldn't know how to come back in like that. Not necessarily. But you know, I know we had some technical difficulties with our guest today, but I want to ask you about, you know, working on the road. Well, how does it compare today with when, you know, you were doing this in the past, whether it was with New Edition or even with your own projects, working, you know, on the road, traveling and, you know, doing gigs and stuff?
Well, it's how does it compare? Well, it's
what are the differences basically, or are there any?
Well, I mean, the difference right now, if I were to compare the differences from then and now, is that when being on the road before was longer. You're on the road longer. You know, we're kind of just kind of going out. You go out for the weekend and you come back. I mean, you can say like this is the beginning stages of trying to be on the road, you know, with another group or something like that.
In other words, you're doing engagements in different locations, but it's not quote unquote a tour per se.
Not a tour per se, you know, not a tour per se. Also the attendance is different. You know, you could even the smallest venue, you know, more people come out now, less people come out now. You know, less people come out only because they're being entertained at home. You know, I mean, you know,
the convenience of streaming and stuff.
The convenience of streaming, but the convenience of podcasters and different things like that, where before you can only get it if you win. You can only get the experience if you were in the house.
Right.
Now you can, maybe not the same experience, but you can get an experience from the comforts of your home, in your PJs. You know what I mean? So and it doesn't have to be going on right now, because you can catch the video on YouTube's, Facebook, whatever, of a show that happened a month ago, and you can check that out later, and and experience that like that.
But what about when you're traveling and you get equipment and speakers and instruments? What about that part of it?
Depends on the level of the tour. The level of the tour would be whether you have a crew or not, or you're the crew. You're the crew, and you're the musician. You're the everything, until you can afford to pay for a crew, or have a crew that's supporting your thing. That's looking to support what you do.
Do venues today? Well, I would assume all venues always had into the studio. Okay, let's see. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah. Got a ton of questions for you too. But let me just finish the question up with Mr. Smith here. So venues today, I would assume every house has their own gear, right, Carl?
No, not every house. You'd be surprised. Yeah, no, not every house.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, not every house. You'd be surprised.
Just
Matter of fact, more than likely,
gear.
More than likely, yeah. Matter of fact, when you start thinking about the venues and the halls and all that other stuff, it is just four walls. It's just an empty space. Whether it's I can't think of anything small enough, but whether it's whether it's symphony space, or Madison Square Garden. You know what I'm saying? It's just the four walls. You have to bring in everything.
Really? Even at the Garden?
Even at, especially the Garden. If
big old horns in the ceiling and all that.
No, your sound company comes in and hang those and whatever. When you get there, it's just a big hall. It's just a big. I was so anxious to go there, to get there, and I'm going to play the Forum. My goodness! And when I walked in there, it was just another hall.
So was that the same thing at Cammy Hall? And when we did the Cotton Club, was it the same?
Cammy Hall, well, you know what? Cammy Hall is even smaller, is even better. Cammy Hall all the way up to the Garden. Wow. You gotta provide your own stuff. You gotta come in with your. Actually, that's kind of what I do with my other stuff. I do sound all over the place, and we do the conventions and stuff, and we have to bring in. You got to bring in the sound and the back line and all that other stuff like that, or else you just have a empty wall, empty hall.
That's a perfect segue for us to bring in our guest, because he does sound too, but on a different level. But let's bring in. We call him Gedown, because Mike Gedown Brown get out when he gets down. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can get down. We don't even use his first name. Look, first name doesn't matter. It's just get out. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry about the issues coming in at the beginning, but this is my first time using this platform, so I had to set up my interface to register, so I had to reboot. So that's all that was. So hey, it's nice seeing you again, Charles. And
man, it's always good to see you, man. Look, you're gonna probably think I'm tired of you, but I'm gonna wait before I throw all the accolades on you. I want to find out a little bit more, and everyone wants to find out a little bit more about Gedown, Mike Gedown Brown. What was a young version of you like, Mike?
I was playing guitar for groups back in the 80s and 70s and 80s in DC as a young man. I played with Little Benny and the Masters, go-go bands and stuff. I had a band called Spellbound. couple of different groups, and I did a lot of studio work. I worked with TRU MU back in the day at a studio. Tyrone Brunson back in those days, and that time frame back in the 80s when they were doing all the bounce beats and stuff like that. So that's where that was my initiation into the business back then.
And how many instruments do you play?
I'm mainly a guitarist and a bassist, but I dibble around on keyboards well enough to do music in the studio, but you don't want me out on stage on a keyboard. So they'll be looking at me like, what are you doing? I thought you played guitar. I'm like, yeah, I do, but
right.
Yeah, so, but guitar is my main instrument.
Wow. So now I know after, like a lot of us, when we're young, we get excited. We're in a band and we're playing, and then you play with another band. You get more experience after you started, getting all your experience. When did you start writing your own stuff, man?
Probably when I was 17.
Really?
16. Yeah, I started writing as soon as I started playing music. I was always trying to write a song back in the day. I always, and even to this day, I don't really do a lot of covers and stuff. I mean, I'm just into original music. It's one thing that I always stress to artists out there. Make sure you got your own stuff first before you start playing somebody else's. But people look at me like, you shouldn't think that way, but that's just the way I was brought up. Play your own stuff first and then cover somebody, because somebody might cover you one day. So you got to make sure you got some music out there,
So, worthy of being covered, huh?
Yeah, worthy of being covered. So, but if you don't put it out, you never know if it is.
What you got for Gedown, Carl? You got something for him?
So how did you get the name Gedown?
My vocalist, Marguerite, back in like the mid 90s, we were doing some work with some folks, and I was playing guitar with the band, and she said, Mike, get down. And I was like, huh, okay. And I'll just get down. And then next thing you know, people started calling me Gedown. And it's stuck since like mid 90s. I've been Mike Gedown Brown since the mid 90s. I didn't like it at first.
Well, all the stuff that sticks, you may not like.
but now I love it. I know me, and I tell people it's not get down, because people always say get down. I say you gotta drop the T.
Drop the T, yeah.
Drop the T.
Yeah.
They look at me like, what's that mean? And then people say G down. I'm like, no, it's get down. But
get down.
Get down, Brown.
Can I do G hyphen down? Like get out?
Yeah. Some people have to say GE hyphen down. In fact, I got a hat with a GE in a hyphen down, but it's just GEDOWN. That's just the way it's been forever. So, so that's, and I got into the studio business back in the 90s and 80s as well. I had a couple of good friends.
Hold up, man. We're running this interview, not you, man. So chill, man.
Oh, you said, but you
I ain't sure all that. Man, you good, Mike. I just, I wanted to ask you, seriously, what do you prefer? Lead? Look, say sky's the limit.
Okay.
No. What do you prefer, lead or rhythm to play?
On stage with bands, I prefer to play rhythm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like holding it down. That's where the Gedown came from.
I was ready to say, yeah.
And that's where that came from, because I love playing rhythm guitar. It's just like everybody want to solo all the time. I can solo with, but holding down the funk with the bass player and the drummer for a guitar player is the pocket. So, I love rhythm guitar. And everybody who comes and tries to hire me to play guitar, they say, yeah, you play rhythm, you play mean rhythm guitar. So I'm like, yeah, that's what I pride myself on, is playing rhythm guitar. Mm-hmm. So that's why I say with bands, you got to know where to put yourself as a guitarist. You don't want to outshine the vocalist and play all kinds of licks and runs and stuff, and the vocalist is trying to sing and do a lot of color. You got to try to, lay the foundation. It's called,
etiquette.
comping.
Look, You're right. You know, you're right. But I'm thinking what you're saying. That's the consideration of the other artists. And I can appreciate that as a vocalist myself.
Yeah, it's called comping. You got to compliment what they're doing. So, even when I'm on records and stuff, I try to comp the song. You ought to do what's best for the song, not what you would rather do as an individual. You try, as a producer, it's the same thing. So if you try to produce somebody, you're not going to try to step on their ideas. You're trying to manifest their ideas and make it, their idea and just improve on it. So that's just the way I was brought up in this industry. Try to work with people, do your best.
So who are your influences as far as musicianship or guitar playing?
In the rhythm game is Nile Rodgers.
Okay.
Nile Rodgers, I've always loved the way he plays rhythm guitar, from Chic and all the stuff he did with David Bowie and all the songs that he's produced. He's always laid down that funky rhythm guitar. So
yeah,
and he's always been in that pocket. He can play lead too, but he's known for that. And Babyface as a guitarist, I love him as a rhythm guitarist and singer. As far as lead guitarists, I really like Santana and Al Di Meola and all that kind of stuff.
What about Clapton?
Oh, I like Clapton. As a blues guitarist.
Right.
But as far as my niche, what I really love to play, and I think I've told you this before, is I'm a metalhead.
Right, you did.
Yeah, I'm a heavy metalhead. I've been listening to bands like Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Judas Priest,
Blue Oyster Cult,
Scorpions, all that stuff. I've been listening to that since in the 70s. That's when I picked up guitar, that's where I was headed. But then I got in bands, and I'm like, you can't play rock guitar on an R&B tune. So I had to branch my playing style out, and that's when I really start loving playing rhythm guitar. So,
well, I'm thinking about what you just said, and typically you're probably right, but I believe in creating trends, because just like the whole Hidden Beach Records, the Unwraps series, they have hip hop beats with classical, with jazz, and that joint is banging. So
yeah,
why not introduce rock with a different genre, whatever it may be? I mean, I don't know which songs you would select, but that may be something you might want to explore.
Well, I mean, I don't want to move too forward in the interview, but I got a band, and we're kind of eclectic, and we play, different styles of music. So, we don't try. We play rock, we play jazz, we play metal, we play funk, we play, R&B, house, So
you guys ever fuse the genres?
As far as one song and mixing it up, on the album, we just have different genres of music because we don't try to pigeonhole ourselves in one style. So,
gotcha.
That could be a detriment sometimes, because people can't really say, are they a metal band, or are they a rock band, or are they a jazz band? What are they? You can't please everybody, but, that's more for us as artists. So the things we like to play, we just try to incorporate that on a record. So we try to put more than one style of music on a record.
Well, I got a question for you and Carl, because you guys may know about this, and I found out, I don't know, maybe a few months ago, maybe a year, I don't know. I was surprised to find out that Ice-T played rock. He got a rock band.
Ice-T?
Yeah.
Ice-T.
Yeah. Ice-T been playing rock since the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that? Cop Killer and all that stuff back then. He had all kinds of heavy metal stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's been into that stuff for a long time.
I've seen footage of him. Yeah.
And guess what? Jada Pinkett plays rock.
Sure does. Yeah.
Ain't that wild? I mean, I knew about her, but I never listened to her. But and I guess she must have inspired Willow, because Willow has a kind of a rock type of thing going to her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's crossing over to different styles of music is good to me. I mean, just like everybody was surprised when Beyonce did country record, but she did one and it was successful. So you just got to do what you love doing. Take a chance sometimes.
Yeah, I find myself on a slippery slope doing so many covers when I do these gigs, that my babies, meaning the originals, they at home starving.
Mm.
Gotta bring some of those originals to the gigs.
But you
I mean,
know what?
but I gotta do more of it.
But you know one thing that I've always said, you know, if you don't play your, I know I see you play your original on gigs, but we always played at least 2 or 3 or 4 or even more on a gig. If you know, why put it out on a record if you're not gonna play it and nobody's listening to it if you don't play it? So nobody's gonna know. So people say, you know, there's no market for original music these days because everybody's doing covers and they're doing tribute shows and stuff like that. So it would really be advantageous for some of the groups that have original music to put together like you know, back in the day, they called them showcases and stuff where, you know, you had different artists playing their own stuff, but not a battle of the band, something where everybody's, you know, supporting everybody and just doing their own music, you know, and getting a promoter to back it would be a really good thing for the musicians who are still out here doing their own thing, because, you know, there's really not a market for playing it. So that's why people aren't doing it, because, you know, they can't play it anywhere. So they like, why keep on doing your own stuff, you know, when everybody's doing a tribute show or something like that. So
well, I can see room for both, because I ain't gonna front. I love creating my own stuff.
I know you got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, man.
You know, and you know, it needs to be heard, you know, other than, you know, we gotta put something out as artists, in my opinion, you know, just like y'all were just talking about venues like Madison Square Garden. I overheard all that stuff. I just couldn't elaborate. So, you know, just like you saying, you have to bring your own house. You have to bring your own house. You got to bring your own back line. You know, you got to have a budget and put together a concert and promote it, you know, and see if you can get some people in there.
That's one of the things I like about, you know, Sky's the Limit Studios. You know, when you go there, he'll offer you a bottle of water. After the first visit, he doesn't offer you anything. But I'm kidding. Nah, but Mike is so accommodating. I mean, from the
that was good. I like that one.
Well, you know, levity here and there, you know, but nah.
Hey.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. You know,
no,
I mean,
you're very accommodating, and the setup of the studio is always nice. He's like a ninja, though, man. Before he be on the ceiling, you bet, oh shit, I didn't know he was up there.
That's because I just want to make sure everything sounds good in there, you know, because, you know, when you're in a small environment rehearsing like this, you know, people have to be cognizant of their volume. That's why I'm always harping on turn down a little T, because the singers are trying to sing, and just like you know, sometimes musicians have a tendency to get into it a little bit more. You know, they just start jamming.
To be honest, you don't have to say sometimes.
But you know how to run your rehearsals, so you know how to do it because you're a professional. So it's just like being out there doing the thing and making sure everybody knows the part, and you know.
Look, when your name's on the marquee, if you don't control it, you get what you get.
Hey. And you got to have musicians who are out there trying to do it the way that you want to do it, and not have a lot of dissension and stuff. But you know, one thing I can say about when you come into the room, your musicians are all professionals. I love Tim. I mean, I love Tim. Tim's a bad boy, and
he sure is.
Yeah, Chuck, all you guys are nice, you know. So you got nice musicians with your you know
the group Soul City Collective.
Soul City Collective.
What you got, Carl?
So I see recording. How many tracks do you have that you record them?
Well, I use Logic.
It's gonna take a while.
I use Logic, so you know,
okay.
You know, so it's just like, you know, just digital. So I got as many as I need, and I'm using UA audio stuff, so I got a lot of power to record a lot of tracks. So, you know, so yeah, I've been in it for a while from the analog days. You know, if I was back there in the 70s and 80s, I'm used to working on tape decks and ADATs and DATs and all that other kind of stuff. So, you know, but I started getting into the DAW world back in the early 2000s. I sold all my equipment. on my analog gear. So
Sure. Which one do you prefer, analog or digital?
well, I prefer analog if I had a big budget, but with digital, you're compact. So I love the way audio sounded back in the day, and you just try to reproduce that now in the digital world. So with digital, you just got unlimited stuff. You don't have to have a big tape deck that's going to go bad, and you got to clean the heads, and the ADATs start eating tapes and stuff, and then you got to put it in the shop, and you pull the tape out, and your client's mad because the ADAT, the machine ate the tape, and then you. I know you remember those days.
I don't know why that sounds so familiar.
Yeah, anybody who was in the audio back in those days, ADATs, we loved the way they sounded, but they weren't very reliable. So I remember those days well. So with only thing now, you got to update your computer so much. I was, to stay relevant. So it's just a little bit different environment. So
yeah, that's one
PC or Mac.
Mac. Mac. So I heard if I may ask, Carl, you said you do like promotions and stuff?
Yeah. I do promotion. Well, like you, I am a independent artist fanatic. I had an independent radio station, artist radio station where I only played independent music and stuff. And then I do events primarily for independent artists.
That's heavy. I love that.
Been doing that for quite a while.
But he's smart. He's smart, Gedown. What he does is he pick people that he can get along with and that he know that will deliver for the most part. So he takes a little tiny bit of the headache out of it.
Well, what can I tell you? Not so much get along with, because you're gonna always have a problem. But the thing is you need to. I find that you'd be surprised how many people will enjoy the originality in your stuff, and not the same old stuff that the other 50 bands played in the venue or played someplace, so I do mainly original music anyway. So, but people seem to enjoy it because it's something different.
Well, that's so true, because I tell folks who have their own music who don't play it, why did you do it if you're not going to play it? But anyway, you got to give people a chance to listen to your music. If they don't like it, then they don't like it. You can't be scared to play it. You can't be scared to put it out. Because people like, oh, it's just not the right venue for my music. I say, well, when is it the right venue for your music? So that's just my intangible in the whole thing. Yeah,
well,
you gotta play.
I mean, the artists that they play was original music when they put it out.
Exactly.
And they played it in front of enough people, that liked it, that made you think that it's not it's not a new piece of music, or it's not an original, but it was all original music. It was just promoted enough, they played it enough, and they got enough people to buy into it, to become fans and follow it, and hence, now you copy it.
Yeah. So, we were talking about this with the market in DC about, people who do original music. Like I have a couple of groups, my band, Next Exit, even Phase 2, some other bands in the area that want their music played on WHUR, WPGC. They don't support that these days. I mean, I don't know why it's like that. It seems like it's always been like that. I don't know, but we don't get that support unless it's go-go in this market. So go-go bands get on pretty much all the time. But if you're doing an original R&B tune or something like that, you got to go out of the area to really get any support. So I think we can change.
You play with Phase 2?
I play with them. Phase 2 is more or less a group of musicians who come and go, like who's available. So I'm on the the call list. If you put it like that. Sometimes if their regular guitarist isn't available, they'll go down the list and see who's available for gigs. So I play with them quite often. A couple of times, maybe 2 or 3 times, 4 or 5 times a year, 5 times a year. It's not all the time, but I play with them enough.
So and they play with their lips now these days.
Yeah, I'm supposed to go see that. I think that's tomorrow. It's Thursday. I think they're there Thursday. This Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. The place on Allentown Road.
Yep.
But it's called something different now. Lisp.
Lisp. Yeah.
Lisp. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I said it wrong.
You been there before?
Yeah, to check it out because I was trying to get us booked there, and I talked to the guy. He said he's gonna try to get us on the roster. We'd love to go in and make some noise, literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can say one thing I like about Sky's the Limit, the studio itself, the other side of Mike, the musician, we have rehearsals there, Carl. And when we rehearse, the rehearsals are recorded. But I swear for God, it sounds like it's a live recording. Now it is, but I mean, it sounds like a performance, like when you buy a live album, like Earth, Wind, and Fire live, the Commodores live, whatever it may be, it sounds like that. The quality of the recording, the rehearsed recording is so, in my opinion, pristine. It's like, wow. I
appreciate that. I put a lot of time and work into it too.
Man.
I edit everything. I edit and then I clean stuff up. I just don't do a live, just like most places where you go do a rehearsal, they just send you an MP3 from the beginning to the end with nothing. But I try to put my business model to give people the best quality that I can and keep it affordable. So that's why I edit everything, and it makes it easier for the artist because if they got to practice and all the band members aren't there, they can send the audio out. If they need to learn the material a little better, they'll have that audio for them. So it helps my band out. And I started recording for my band. So then I just started doing it as part of my business. So, I just started recording.
I have some ideas of some things I might want to be doing in the not too distant future, but I just got to probably literally write it down so that I know what songs, and it's probably going to consist of a lot of original material because that's where my focus is. Like you said, we've created all these songs and they're not being heard. So I've done it digitally, but they have a live band. I remember we did a gig not so long ago, and when the band was playing one of these songs I wrote, I was like, damn, that shit sounds right. Hearing something that I created, having other artists play it for you or with you, that's like,
yeah,
you don't get much better than that.
Nothing better at all. Nothing better. Look, people jump on me all the time, you guys, about promoting people. They like, Mike, why you hate on everybody so much? I said, I'm not hating on them. It's just like, because I always promote people doing their own thing. And some people take it the wrong way. I'm like, why ain't you doing your own stuff? And they think I'm doing it because I got a recording studio and I'm trying to get the business.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be here. It could be wherever you record. It could be recording at home. It could be just doing your own thing. Write something. It's just back in the 60s and 70s and 80s. We had bands.
Yeah.
We had black bands. Yeah, I haven't seen a new black band that consists of musicians who stay together as a group that made it. The Earth, Wind, and Fires, the Slaves, the Cameos. There's no more of those bands. Everybody's either a rapper or a singer, and you got musicians backing you up. There's no bands. I just miss those days. I really do.
Yeah.
I miss those days. I don't know what happened, but people tell me different reasons. It's too expensive to keep everybody together. It was expensive back then. I don't understand what happened.
I don't buy that at all. I just think it's, and I understand people wanting to get paid and people wanting to stay active. I understand that. I respect that. But I think there's something to wanting to belong to something in particular or something that you like. Like when you've got chemistry, the same chemistry you may have with Phase 2 is not the same chemistry you have with your band. good people, I'm sure, but it's not the identical same chemistry. Wherever the chemistry feels best is where you want to rest or where you want to lay your head. Like I heard a couple of guys with my group saying, "No, this is my priority." He said, "I play with other people, but I look at what we're doing as my priority," and that made me feel really good because I ain't asking him to think like that. I'm glad he does, but I'm like, wow, okay.
Those guys need to come into the studio and record with you.
Oh,
put something together. Those are the types of guys that you want, to build something with. Somebody who wants to be with you and get that vision. That's what built bands back in the day. People who had the same vision. I don't know what happened to that. People try to figure out what happened to. You got 4 or 5 guys together and then you start playing, but we were young back then. So I guess, I don't know if the kids are still thinking that way, the 17, 18, 20-year-olds that are playing, if they are into that, like putting something together. But no, they play with everybody. They're just like, I'm going to hit with this guy, which is fine. But, I'd like to see a new Earth, Wind and Fire.
Wow.
I would like to see a new Cameo, a new Ohio Players, a new somebody, that band that's coming out with music as a band, with a band name, not, an artist, but a band. I just like to see that again. And I'm dreaming.
Look, the Jackson 5 and the Silvers and even the groups, bands and groups,
Yeah.
Play instruments.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. That would really be nice. Are there any more new singing groups?
Somebody was talking about Jay Valentine was talking about that the other day. Jay Valentine is part of a podcast called R&B Money. Him and Tank, they had this podcast where they have everybody. I mean, they've had the Whispers, they've had Jill Scott, Chris Brown. They had every older or younger R&B soul vocalist because they're trying to let people know that R&B is alive. And he was talking about that. He said, man, my daughter is like 12 and there's no boy bands. When was the last time there was a black boy band? A young Jackson 5 or a young New Edition where they were wearing uniforms and dancing and singing. And, you had the high vocalists and the mid-range vocalists and they bouncing off each other. That's non-existent. Everything is solo. Chris Brown.
But what really surprises me is it's only in the R&B market that bands aren't still doing their thing, because you always gonna get a new country band, you gonna get a new rock band. Rock bands, they still coming out, they still getting country bands, you still get jazz bands, but you're just not getting R&B and soul bands anymore. And I don't know what's up with that.
What's up with that, Carl? What you think, man? What's your view?
Well, one is we don't work together, stick together to make anything happen in the first place, unfortunately.
Oh my God. I didn't want to say that.
Well, I said it, doggone it. The heck with it. I live this. I live this, man. Even in stuff that I'm doing now and projects that I'm dealing with now, I scratch my head because it's unbelievable how a situation that can skyrocket is crashed only because they don't want to work together. They don't, and then vision. What I find is, like you said, 5 different people pulled together and you guys have the same vision. Maybe not the same way, but the same vision. You want to walk down straight. You want to walk straight. Today, these people want to walk like this. You know what I'm saying? They're not even looking down the same road. So
I think everybody just want to be out front, and I'm the one. I'm the it factor. I think that's part of it, but I think that I want to be out front is a small problem compared to I want to be out front in a blues band. No, I want to be out front in a rock band. No, I want to be out front, in a country band, and they're all playing together,
you know, trying to be out front in their own prospective band or whatever the case may be. So this is what I see, you know, and I say, well, back in the day, I was just explaining this to somebody yesterday. Back in the day, if someone wasn't down with what you were doing, they left you alone.
Right.
They didn't entangle themselves in what you're doing. You know, with saying they didn't want it, they stepped off. These days, people entangle themselves in what you're doing and sabotage what you got going on.
Creating havoc. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just hard to pull something together because you got those who they're running with you, and then you got those that's running with you, dragging their feet.
Hanger on us.
You know, they're dragging their feet and they're making the load really heavy. So,
Yeah.
But what do I know?
I mean, but you know that I was thinking the same thing. When I hear when I see bands playing, I see them on stage, but I don't see a band.
Right.
I see a bunch of musicians on stage playing together.
They're playing the same time, but they're not playing together.
You're right. They're there playing, but they're not a band. And you know, and those days of that camaraderie with a band, because you know, it takes a lot to gel as musicians. It becomes organic, you know, where you know what that bass player is going to do. You know that drummer going to hit that flam, and that vocalist is going to hit that note. You know, I've been working on it so long. Today, these days, you know, it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
I mean, if you see it, it's really hit or miss. You know, because I think people, it's more, I don't know, is it more money than you know, they used to say starving musicians. You had to starve as a band before you made it. Nobody ain't trying to starve.
Well, I would tend to say that each and every one of us, just right here, we've already passed that starving phase.
Exactly.
We've been through it, been in it long enough that element, even though it still may have a certain portion to cling to us, we've gone through that phase enough that our knowledge and hopefully wisdom should teach us to be better people so we can be better musicians or bandmates, you know, if we're doing something, you know, but everyone doesn't think that way. Some people are just chasing the mighty dollar. You need a bass player. Oh, you need a guitar. Oh, you need drums. I got you. And all money's not good money, as they say. So
yeah, I said that the other day, you know, but like you said about bands, really, I just miss the days of, you know, looking forward to the new Earth, Wind, and Fire album. Man, Earth, Wind, and Fire got a new album coming out. How excited you used to be when a band came out with a new, you know, these days, you know, I'm not excited. I don't know. I'm not excited about what I hear on the radio. I mean, as far as the celestial music that's being played, that's not what we, you know, it's not what we do. It seems like, and I don't know if we're the ones left behind and aren't moving forward with what's being played now, or you know, it's. What do you think?
Well, I remember I was 13 or 14. It was summertime, and there was a block party on 132nd Street between 7th and 8th, and there was a band out there, and they was killing it, and they were playing the Pointer Sisters, these cute girls, and they were older than me. They weren't teenagers. They had to be at least 20. And the girl was singing something like, they was doing like the Andrew Sisters. It's the little bit of Billy Boy Company, right? And she looked at me and pointed at me, and I was like, "Oh snap!"
Oh, that's a whole nother conversation there.
But it wasn't just that I was smitten, but it was the fact that I was smitten by a beautiful sister that could sing and dance. But it was a live band, congas, drums, guitar, bass. And that phase was the phase that I was being drawn to at that time in my life, greatly drawn to music. And I was like, whoa, because I was all in on Earth, Wind, and Fire, Ohio Players, Kool and the Gang, you know, the whole music world. And here it is, I'm standing in front of a live band, and I could reach out and touch the stadium, the platform, and I wanted to be there. And it just penetrated me, man. I was like, whoa. the spirit of music was like, gotcha. You know, want to say gotcha, nigga.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. That's what happens. And I had the pleasure of playing with a few of my friends for some Christmas. They're all educators, so they teach music in PG public schools. So they asked me to sit in with their groups for some Christmas uh, you know programs. So it was refreshing to see that there's still kids in school playing instruments. I was really surprised. I was like, wow, they got a lot of participation. The parents were there supporting and stuff. I was like, wow, there's still hope. That's where my head was. I was like, wow, there's still hope. People still want to not just rap. They want to play something. There were people playing keyboards and playing, guitars and horns and trumpets and saxophones and stuff. I was like, wow, so there's still some hope. Maybe down the road, you know, it'll all come back, come full circle again.
So when you started producing, Mike, was that because of your original material, the ideas that you had with your own stuff? Is that got you producing and then starting to produce other people?
Oh, yeah, I had a band called The Project, Projekt, and we had a song called Real Love. It was like one of those Shannon type songs in the 80s, and we produced it ourselves. And that's when I met James and Tume, and he was a producer, and we were like, well, we're a self-produced band, so when we started self-producing ourselves, then we had a studio at the same time. So at that point, that's like the early 80s, we started producing other singers and bands that came in. So that's how I got into the production thing way back in like 84, 85. So it was started off, but it did start off with doing our own thing and then started producing other people.
So when you produce for other people today, are you producing their project per se, or are you producing them through your own lens as well?
My production style has changed as I've gotten older. Back in the day, I was more of a producer who made all the music. I was the brains behind it. I made the beat, and then I played the keyboards, and I played the guitar, and then I did all that stuff. But as I've gotten older, I've decided I like producing musicians better, even though I did it back in the day too. But producing a band is way different than being a beat maker. And I tried to get out of the beat making stage where it was just me doing it, and I tried to like put people together to make the music as opposed to me sitting behind the console doing it all. So I've done it both ways, but I really prefer working with bands now and musicians because I'm not the best keyboard player in the world. I'd rather have somebody who's really, really, really good on keyboards as far as me just banging on them. And I'd rather have a real good bass player as opposed to me playing bass. Even I could play it, but I'd rather direct everybody to play to their best abilities as opposed to me doing it. So that's where my production style comes in now. So that's what I really like doing, is working with musicians.
So being an engineer was a result of the production aspect of what you were doing, knowing you needed to get it polished and for it to come out right.
No, I actually had two real good engineers who were musicians. One of them was named Carl Hatley. They're both passed now. Mike Hughes, who is a local legend in the business in this area, and a gentleman named Carl Hatley. And they were the engineers. So I would just be the producer. I'm like, hey, play this, play this, play this, and they would push the faders and stuff. But as time went on, I had to get more hands-on. So I just got better and better at working the equipment. But that wasn't my focus. My focus at first was playing and having somebody else do it, because I thought it was too much work and you had to learn too much to get all that stuff right, but you had to learn how to EQ and then learn how to compress and then learn all the effects and then learn how to bust everything where it's supposed to go. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. I just want to make a song. But in my older age, I said, well, I need to learn how to do it. So I just kept on trying to do it and eventually got better. and started doing my own studio stuff. I think I got my first room in like my personal first room I got like in the mid 90s, where I first got my own ADATs and my own board and all that other stuff.
Did you say you got better? Or did you get bitter? No, I'm just kidding.
I got both because I got bitter. I did get bitter because I used to have my own business, a room, but then when this stuff came into play, the big stuff went by the wayside. Nobody wanted to come into a room with a big old console and tape decks and all that stuff. They could do that stuff at home. So I got really bitter because my business went under because of all the technology. So yeah, I sold my ADAS. I sold dirt cheap. My stuff. I had a lot of stuff, and once it became obsolete, you can't keep up no more. So I had to get rid of it all. So yeah, I was bitter too. So you said better, and I got better by being bitter.
What you got, Carl? What you got, Carl?
So I see you got a wall of look like a clock or something with guitars on it.
Yeah.
What type guitar? What's your favorite guitar brand or whatever? There used to be Fenders and Gibsons and
I play a Hamer guitar now.
Okay.
It's Hamer, Hamer, as a band, because I like rock music, and some of the rock artists in the 80s played Hamers, and I like the tone of them. But I played Gibsons back in, I got a Gibson too. I got a Gibson, I got a Hamer, I got an Epiphone, and I'm really a Gibson guy because my brothers played guitar and they got me into it, and they bought me a Gibson when I was young. So I've been playing Gibsons more than anything, most of the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the Hamer, that's pretty much like a Rickenbacker, rock.
Well, actually, yeah, it's more versatile. Yeah, it's more, but that guitar I got that guitar in 1984, the white one. In 1984.
Oh, you talking about Pearl?
Pearl. That guitar's been with me for 41 years now.
Wow.
It's been with me for 41 years. So, it's like my kid. It's like my grown kid. She's been through a lot too. She got stolen out of a recording studio and was gone for 5 years out of my life, and I got it back on the humble. It was amazing. You want to hear the story?
Okay. Tell the story.
Yeah. Okay. So I had a recording studio on Ardmore Road. We had a birthday party there, and I played guitar for the drummer and the keyboard player because we had a little hall. So after the little jam session was over, I had a session. So I was moving my equipment back into the studio, but the last thing I moved was my guitar, like an idiot. So and there were people there that I didn't know because it was an open house type of a jam session. So I took I was taking my heavy stuff in first like a dummy instead of my guitar. So as I was moving my stuff back, I got distracted for about maybe 5 minutes.
10.
In 5 minutes or so, went into the studio. I put the keyboard up or something. I don't know what it is. Somebody started talking. I said, let me go get my guitar. I went back to get my guitar. Everybody was gone, including my guitar. Including my guitar. Everybody was out. The place emptied out. So somebody was obviously watching me because I put my guitar in the case. Like a dummy, as opposed to that's the first thing I'm supposed to take back with me is my guitar in the case. So, but anyway, it got stolen. But it was somebody's birthday. It was a wedding. It was a wedding. What do you call it? The
reception.
The bachelor party is what it is. So the guy whose bachelor party it was another musician. He was a drummer. I was like, one of your guests took my guitar, so you need to find it. Now I don't got nothing to do with that. I was like, it was your party. You rented the room. Somebody you knew in that room took my guitar. Now I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm getting married today. So push came to shove. He didn't give me any cooperation. Guitar's gone. I filed a police report, had the serial number and everything. Didn't think about it too much more. Then I went down. My wife and I got married in '99. This happened in '97. Got married in '99. I went down to Virginia Beach for like a little getaway. I stopped back at the Guitar Center in Virginia Beach. So when I got to the Virginia Beach Guitar Center, I started talking to this guy, told me a story about my guitar. And he's like, have you tried the Hamer fan club? I was like, why do I need to do that? He said, well, that guitar is very rare. You know, I remember that guitar. They only made a few of them like that. I was like, so he gave me the information to the Hamer fan club. So I got in contact with them. Somebody bought my guitar at Atomic Music, which is a used guitar shop here in PG County, and took it with them up to Pennsylvania and registered it with the Hamer fan club.
Wow.
On the humble. So the guy said, man, I know that guitar. I was like, what do you mean? How you know the guitar? He said they only made 2 or 3 of those. And I was like, how do you know that? And he said, because I worked with Hamer. That's why I started the Hamer fan club. I was like, you gotta be joking. Right? So he said, look, I know who's got that guitar because they registered it with the fan club. And I was like, yeah, whatever. So he got in contact with the guy who bought it. He sent me a picture of the guitar, and it was my guitar. So I'm like, well, he bought a hot guitar. And the guy was like, I had no idea that it was hot. So he's like, only thing I want, he said, I don't want the guitar anymore now that I know it was stolen. I want you to have your guitar back, but I got to get what I paid for it. And I was like, how much did you pay for it? And I knew it was going to be expensive because I know what the guitar is worth. So I bought my guitar back from him.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
My wife, my new wife, Cindy, said, you need to get your guitar back. I said, I'm going to call the police, blah, blah, blah. He's like, he didn't know it was stolen. And he sent me the receipt of how much he paid for it. He didn't ask for anything extra. So I just bought my guitar back. No, he mailed it back to me from Pennsylvania, UPS.
I don't care. I would have been 911 like a mug. I ain't paying for my guitar already bought.
Nah, I bought it back. I bought it back. It was only fair because, like I said, it should have been Atomic Music who spotted that it was stolen because I put in a police report. So when I went back to Atomic Music, they were like, I said, well, how did y'all sell this stolen piece of music, this stolen instrument? So it was their fault for not, because just like with pawn shops, if people pawn stuff, they got to put it through some sort of system where they got to check it to be stolen or anything. They didn't do that. That guy just went in there and bought a guitar. So I wasn't blaming him for buying it. So, I just bought it back. And I'll let it out of my sight now. So, but it was gone for 5 years and I got it back. So, that's the story. Bought my own guitar back. Well, my wife bought it back for me, actually. She paid for it. So I didn't pay for it, probably she paid for it.
She must love herself some you. That's all.
Yeah. She bought my guitar back. Yeah, that was that was like one of the high points of my musical career because I never thought I'd see that guitar again.
Wow,
that's
nice.
Never. Man. Yeah, so I got it back. Yeah.
So we come to a segment where we ask you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. We have skipped this segment for a while, but we're back on it. So we're going to throw a couple of names of musicians at you, and you can simply give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And there's no specific genre. We just hit different genres. So you let us know. And they're vocalists as well as musicians. So Lou Rawls, Sammy Davis Jr. Which one?
Both of them.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you gotta pick. You gotta pick one.
Well, normally,
he said thumbs up, thumbs down. Now you telling him he got to pick one. That's why he was like, I don't know.
I like them both.
He's got to pick one. He's got to pick one, or he's got a thumbs up or thumbs down.
What did we do before, Cole? We give 2
thumbs
names.
Up, right? Thumbs down. You name one, he give you a thumbs up, thumbs down.
Okay. Well, both of them. He said both thumbs up. Lou Rawls and Sammy. Okay. How about Etta James or Pearl Bailey? Oh, well, I'm sorry, Etta James.
You know,
I thought we did it differently.
no. Mm-mm.
Okay. Nah, we did it different, Carl.
Nope. Mm-mm.
I can't
You had
get
thumbs up and you had one or the other.
I can't give both of those iconic artists either one of those a thumbs down. I can't do that. They both got their own thing. I can't give them a thumbs down.
It's preference, man. It's preference.
Oh, okay. Well, both of them get a thumbs up too.
Okay.
Double thumbs up.
So what are you saying, Carl? What was two?
You had the verses, one verse the other, or
verses. On the
Right,
verses, a verse.
So you either had like
Choose one or the other.
Isaac Hayes or Barry White, or you said Barry White, and then they gave you a thumbs up or thumbs down, and that's when they couldn't decide. I was like, yo, you can go in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So how about Jackie Wilson or James Brown? It's supposed to be hard.
I got to go with the side. Look, I'm going sideways again, man. I love them both.
Okay. TSOP or MFSB?
The Sounds of Philadelphia or
Mother, Father, Sister, Brother.
I got to go with the Sounds of Philadelphia on that. I go with TSOP on that one.
Maybe I should have threw South Soul Orchestra in there, right? Okay, what about let me kind of bring it up to date. Johnny Gill or Tank?
Johnny Gill.
Yeah, that's my man too, no doubt.
Even though Tank is local,
Yeah.
Both Johnny Gill's local too. They both from local, so I go with Johnny Gill.
Yeah,
he got a little bit more swag with him.
Okay, damn, this is kind of hard because, well, Coco Jones or Ari Lennox?
I'm not familiar with either one of them enough to make an educated choice.
Okay.
I haven't listened to him even enough to really judge him.
Ari Lennox is local, just to let you know though. She's the one that did Pressure. Boom, 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 boom. Pressure. Boom, 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 boom. That's a bad track.
Okay.
Usher or Chris Brown?
I guess I go with Usher.
Okay. What about her or Alicia Keys?
Her.
Oh, guitar.
That quick.
All right.
I mean, because she's a guitarist, so I don't got a preference because she's a guitarist. Alicia's a keyboardist, so I like the guitar singer because she plays my instrument. So yeah.
Let me go over to a little bit of Blue Eyed Soul. Michael McDonald or Michael Bolton?
Michael McDonald.
Okay.
Look who came in. You knew she was going to show up eventually, didn't you?
Bella.
You knew she was going to show up eventually.
Yeah. One last one. Okay. I'm trying to find them where they at. Oh, this is gonna be a good one. They're gonna do on the producers. LA and Babyface or Jam and Lewis?
Oh hell. Probably Jam and Lewis.
Okay. I think I like Face better personally.
I like them both, but as a choice, I would go with them. I like that. Yeah, it's kind of hard. Yeah, that's a hard one. But yeah, but Jam and Lewis just came off the top.
All right, so you got some new projects coming out. Tell us about your new projects.
I'm working on my solo record. It's called Vibrancy. It's an instrumental thing I'm trying to do. I got as a matter of fact, Tim played keyboards on it for me the other day.
I heard that's what people talking about all around the county.
Yeah, whatever.
Good.
You know,
Let me-
loose lip sync ships.
What do you mean? You're joking, right?
Or brings it to the top.
You're joking, right?
To the top.
No,
Yeah, you gotta be.
no, I'm not.
Because everybody was saying, because somebody said that to me, how you get Tim on your track? I was like, I should feel honored. He was like, you got Tim, because people was like, you got Tim on your track. I was like, yeah. He said he played on it for me. He came into the studio, he played on the joint. They were like, how you get him in your room? I was like, he played with Charles, one of the groups that comes in here. He heard the track, and I said, man, I'm looking for a piano on this joint. He said, okay, put it on.
Yeah,
and he played it, and I was like,
you don't get much better than that.
I was like, okay, and it made a big difference because that boy bad. You know,
Oh my goodness, is he?
He know how to, just like I talk about comping and complimenting. He knew exactly what to play without even knowing the song. He just listened to me, my guitar part, and he just played around me just because he knew how to do that. Stop, Bella. So yeah,
all the people he played with, and as long as he been playing, come on now.
Oh, I know. Like I said, when he came in, he was like, I said, first thing I said was the keyboard parts on there is too busy, and I can't really hear what I'm playing as playing the melody in the lead instrument. And he's like, okay. So when he played, I let him listen to what was on there. He's like, I see what you're saying. Yeah, he is kind of busy. You got to let you shine a little bit more. I was like, okay. So he went through the part. He played it, maybe once or twice all the way through. And he said, go ahead and hit record. So we hit record. I had to do a few edits, not too much. And now I'm happy with the song. I'm like, okay, now I can do everything else I need, because when the piano ain't right, it's just not right. The piano's got to be in the pocket. So he played that joint and it came out really well.
Look, the Black Brian Culbertson, right?
Man, that boy bad. And then I just had Steve Garrison, sax player, in yesterday, and he played sax on it. He played tenor and alto sax.
Nice.
So he played the sax parts. So with the hits and stuff. So I got live horns on it now. And now I just got to beef up my guitar part, because when all these heavy hitters come in there, I got like, oh, I can't be slumming now. I got to get my act together. So it made me beef myself up a little bit more. So that's why them guitars are in here, because I was working on playing some new stuff on it earlier today. So yeah, I'm happy now. It's going on my album, so I'm hoping to release it by like March or April. Well, what's an EP? It's an EP. I'm sorry, 4 track. It's an EP, 4 tracks. It's an EP.
You scared? Why only 4, man? Come on, man.
Because I ain't got no more songs in my brain. I'm trying to come up with some more. No, but really, because with an instrumental record, unless I do some vocal stuff, I don't know how to do that. So I just wanted to do an EP and a single. So there's going to be a single on this. Really, I just want to do a single, and I got 3 other songs. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh yeah.
Nice.
The song is called Some Kind of Magic. The single, Some Kind of Magic. So yeah.
The funny thing is, each of us have a project coming out.
I know you got one. What's yours, Carl?
I am revamping some of the stuff that I had out before, and then I got a bunch of new material that I got. I haven't given it a name yet, but I got about 15 songs so far. And I got a whole bunch of stuff. I just need to whittle them down to what I'm going to do, maybe the 10 or 10 plus the 2 that I'm redoing that was released before.
Well, I got another project for my band. So, back in the day, I used to have a lot of music in my head. Now it's more of challenge. It's more challenging to come up with stuff. Maybe it ain't as easy as it used to be. I don't know if it's age, but I ain't gonna say age. I don't know what the hell it is, but it ain't as easy as it used to be. Sitting in the studio and being creative, it takes a little bit more work now for some reason. I don't know if it's
get out of the studio and it'll come to you.
My brain ain't working as fast as it used to.
It's all good. It's all good. So how can people contact you for studio time or rehearsal space, or if you're taking on any new clients or whatever the case may be?
I have a website. It's www.parkwaysouthrecords, all one word, parkwaysouthrecords.com. And that's it has just a link to my studio, some old pictures, but I got to update it. And it's got some links to some music that we've done, and has a schedule, pricing, and stuff like that. Of course, via the internet.
Uh-huh.
We got Sky's the Limit, www.skysthelimit@gmail.com. All spelled out, and the Skies is with a Z. So it's SKYZ, The Limit Recording Studio at Gmail. And and of course my phone number, but we don't do the phone numbers on the thing. So just,
yeah, for sure, I understand.
I'm just kidding. I'm being stupid. Don't mind me. I like joking around sometimes.
Man, it's all good. It's all good. Well, look, man, Carl, what you got before we head south?
It was a pleasure meeting you. We need to get together and put a show together or something.
What's your email? Is that your email address that I'm looking at, Carl?
My web thing to my link in bio. All my stuff is on there.
That's the time. You would check out.
No, go ahead. Just a little.
I was just saying maybe we can I can share you since are you still doing indie radio?
They had hacked my machine. They had hacked my machine. So I machine is sitting right here. Has been installed and everything. I just haven't turned it on.
Okay.
But I think I'm going to go to playlist route right now. Pull some stuff together and do a bunch of playlists.
Okay.
Because that seems to be where a lot of people are going. Plus, the playlists will guide people to the artist making some pennies for plays.
Yeah. Streaming pennies, or streaming less than a penny.
Right.
Yeah.
Streaming micro pennies.
I just want the discovery so that it will turn into, other avenues and other opportunities.
Makes sense.
Most people don't look at it that way. They look at it, they count the pennies. But if you really want to make more than the pennies, you take that and then you do something else with it.
Yeah.
Look, they don't make pennies anymore in the Mint, so
I know.
We need to start getting streaming nickels, man.
You can't get a penny no more.
And look, I looked at my little streaming check that came. I was like, my goodness, boy, them things are small.
Are you on Facebook?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. My studio's on Facebook. Michael Gedown Brown, I'm on Facebook. So yeah, I'm all over the place on Facebook. I'm going to log into you real quick too.
Oh, I'm going to log into you. Okay.
So you got to type in Gedown. If you type in Mike Gedown Brown, it should pop right up. There ain't too many Gedown Browns out there.
Mike, Gedown.
Michael, M-I-C-A.
Okay, the whole thing.
Mike, yeah, Michael, Gedown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can do that.
Got a picture with my cat.
With your cat?
If you always see my cat when my cat's always around.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, pleasure meeting you, and hopefully we'll get together sometime soon. I think I'll be down that way in April. I know that.
You in New York?
I'm in New York. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If you do anything, you ever need any guitar tracks, man, let me know.
Likewise.
You play keys?
Yeah.
You play guitar.
I play keys.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd love to, I do a lot of
Yeah.
online jobs these days. During COVID, that's all we got to do for a while. So
Yeah.
now I can't get people to get out and come in the studio no more. They want to do everything remotely. I'm like, well, you come on in the room. And they're like, nah, I got my own rig now. I'm like, oh, never mind.
What do you use to do the remote stuff?
Just emailing and
Just
going, just emailing, go using WeTransfer or other sites like that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So if you got something and you want me to play on it, just send it to me and I'll lace it and send it back to you and put it into your DAW and see what you like it.
Yeah. Surely will.
Okay.
All right, fellas. Well, until the next time, be part of the energy, radiate the brain, change the game, as I like to say.
Hey, thanks for having me on too, Charles. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, man. It's always good, man. Good stories, man.
I'm part of the energy. Thank you so much.
Look, that's what I meant to say. Also, before we sign out, you were one of the first, if not second, people to join the rebranded page of Soul City
Collective.
Yeah, you know the name.
Collective. I had it wrong for a while. I was just calling it Soul City. And I just like, okay, Soul City Collective. I like that.
Yeah, man. But it's all good. Until next time.
You're sexy, so good to me.